Okay, folks, welcome to part 2 of session 2 of starting Smoke, Mr. Smoke Under Saddle. You can see he's yelling for other horses, and I'm not in there. In between things, I got all my tack out and ready to put on him over here. I haven't done anything with him. I just got my stuff ready, and I realized when I reviewed my video from yesterday that there's a lot of stuff in the way between hanging on the bars of my round pen and the big white barrel. It made it harder for y'all to see what was going on. And I'm trying to get the entire round pen. I kind of missed a little tiny piece of it over there on the video right now, but that should be good enough. In between, he did roll, which has dried him off fairly well. Oops, I forgot to get all my grooming supplies out. Although he might roll again. But I do want to see how well he stands still for grooming. Hey, Mr. Smoke. He has a tendency to flip his ears a little bit when I go up there, so he's a tiny bit head shy. I noticed that yesterday. Oh, and something else I wanted to talk about. Whenever I get a young horse like this in, or actually any horse, one of the things I do before I put a bit in their mouth is I check their teeth. It'd be smarter if I did it coming off the trailer, because oftentimes a few days later I think about going in and looking, and I find some interesting things. Most common ones is wolf teeth present, which should have been resolved before they came here, and or retained caps. And I've looked in his mouth already. Everything looks pretty good. He does have his corner incisors are still baby teeth, so he's definitely not 4.5. At 4.5, generally they get all their teeth, except maybe the canines, if they're going to have canines, might not be fully erupted until 5. This guy, I did notice when I went in there that he has a bump on his jaw where there's going to be a canine. I think I only found one. It's not emerged yet, so it's still under the gum line. And of course, horses at this age can be just like any other young animal that's teething. They can have sore gums and be a little uncomfortable in their gums. So it's something you want to think about when you're bidding young horses. One of the things I like to do is go buy a 1-inch or 3/4-inch hunk of rope, cotton rope, at Tractor Supply or your hardware store, wherever, long enough that you can tie a knot the size of your fist-ish. You want them to be able to grab the knot with their mouth and chew on it. But they might just chew on the rope. I hang it in their stall, their run-in shed, wherever after I can tie the upper part to, so that they can teeth on that thing and chew on it. That chewing helps work those caps off the baby teeth. Adult teeth are trying to push them out of the way, and helps prevent them from being retained. So a retained cap is a baby tooth that got wedged between adult teeth next to them and didn't fall out. And then they start causing problems in the mouth with the adult teeth that are already present. Anyhow, so all I do, I guess I should bring him over to y'all. Oh, come on. Good boy. The one thing you might look at doing is putting this on a large screen, a playback on YouTube, and if you have a touch screen, you can zoom in. A tablet works pretty good. You can zoom in on this, and you can see things closer up. So, okay, and I don't know where this is going to fall. What I do is I take my thumb and I go in and put it on the bar, and I run my thumb forward and aft to feel the bar line. And I run it all the way back till it runs into the first molar to check for wolf teeth. There would be a little bump there. There isn't. And while I'm in there, I want to look at his incisors. You can see the upper and lower incisors on this side are baby teeth. They're little tiny teeth still. See if I can get you a shot of those right there, where his tongue is. And his upper and lower incisors next to those look like they're already adult teeth. I'm not positive about that. Actually, I think the next one's inboard. The gums look swollen on the upper. I suspect that might be a baby tooth here also. And these will, like I said, by the time he's 3.5 or 4.5, those will all be out, and there should be adult teeth. It's a really good idea when horses are young, even though these are baby teeth, that you have a vet look in there every 6 months and make sure you don't have a retained cap, or better yet, look in your horse's mouth. Pick up their lips like this, look at his teeth. Now you can't look at the molars very well unless you put a speculum in and hold his mouth open. That would be dangerous otherwise. But take a look at his teeth every once in a while. And even when the new adult teeth come in, take a look in there. They'll get real soft. I recommend horses get their teeth floated every 6 months by a professional, not just necessarily a vet, but somebody that really knows what they're doing in the horse's mouth. I prefer equine dentists. Every 6 months till they're about 7 years old. When the adult teeth first come in, they're very soft, which means you get sharp points and ridges faster. The teeth wear faster when the new adult teeth first come in, and you're riding your young horse at that point. And sharp points on the top teeth are going to cut the inside cheeks, and sharp ridges, which is the inside edge of the lower teeth, can cut the tongue. And when you put a bit in, it flattens out the tongue. Anyhow, it's better until they're about 7 every 6 months. Once they hit 7 years old, I use every 12 months, unless there's a special reason for that individual to change that schedule. That's what I do, though. So he's definitely not 4.5. I'm not sure when he turns 4. He's supposed to be 3. But his teeth are telling me he's somewhere in between there. And as I said, he doesn't have any wolf teeth, but he does have one canine that hasn't erupted. And as far as I could tell, I couldn't find any other bumps for any other canines. Canines, well, whatever. You can do your research. You can read the Merck manual or Google just as well as I can and get information. I don't need to tell you on this video all that stuff. So today my goal is, I like to have objectives, learning objectives, is to tack him at liberty, make him comfortable with tack so he doesn't feel a need to defend himself, which means standing here like this. I want to be able to approach him with all the tack and put it on him and attach it, and him not care too much and have his head down just like he does now. Then I want to put a bit in his mouth and bit him up. And I want to do some bridle work, which means introduce him to the function of the bit and what my manipulations mean regarding his body parts, specifically his shoulders and his hips. And then I'd like to mount. I only need to mount once, depending on him. I might mount numerous times, but oftentimes I might mount the horse one time and get off. I'm definitely not going to stay long, because one thing a horse doesn't know when you first mount is, am I going to have to carry this guy around the rest of my life? They don't know it's a temporary thing. So if you get on and off a whole bunch of times, they're going, oh, he's getting on and off, he's getting on and off. Okay, this is like nothing else. Like he's brushing me right now. He brushes me for a while. No big deal. He's going to get on me. No big deal. He's going to get off of me. No big deal. Okay, so he's pretty clean. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I haven't tried to pick up any of his feet yet. You know what? Normally I do that before I tack up a horse for the first time. So since we're taping, I might as well do it now. I usually do it with a halter on, because if they're touching the back end, I need to correct them. And if he's at liberty, I can't correct him. So I'm going to put a halter on and see how he feels about his feet being picked up all the way around. Good job. Good boy. So you can see he feels a little differently about me when I'm holding a halter and lead line than when I'm not. Without me holding these, I can walk up to him no problem. But when I pick up something like this, he cares. So I'm going to direct him, use some active leadership followed by passive leadership. Good boy. And let him come in so he can feel better about me carrying this around. Want to let him sniff. I might even want to give him a moment here. He just licked and chewed. So this is a good moment. Drops his head. To teach him, I can give you peace. You're a goofball, aren't you? I can give you peace after everything you don't like. Then I did not put his head in the I did not make him assume the position. I probably should have, which would have been down a little lower and bent toward me a little bit, like I showed yesterday. That would be assume the position to put head stalls on and off. Oh well. I think I mentioned yesterday in the video, I'm not perfect. I'm going to go ahead and pull them around. I always do feet in the same order. If I set up rituals with horses. Horses love rituals. They're very conservative, which means they don't like change. So if you can set up rituals that are unchanging, they're happier. They're just more at ease. So one of my rituals is always do the feet in the same order. I don't care what order you use, just do them in the same order every time. And what's really cool, if you always do them in the same order, they'll have the next foot picked up waiting for you. They will already have assumed the position because they know where you're going and what you're doing. I suggest always using gloves, depending on whether the horse is trimmed or shod and when. The bottoms of their feet can be sharp on your hands. Also, I believe I'm the decision maker and he's the doer with his muscles. So I don't pick up feet. I communicate to the horse I want them to pick up their feet. And one of the ways I do that is squeeze the last muscle on the leg. On the front legs, it's aft side, and he knows that already, right at the chestnut. So I put my inside finger on the chestnut and the outside thumb squeezes on this muscle. This time when he picks up his foot, I'm going to go ahead and take it for him. Now I do a weird thing. And I mentioned yesterday, to receive trust from the horse, you have to demonstrate trust. And as you get older, bending over a lot sucks on your back. So what I've done here is you can see I'm kneeling down. My inside knee is up with his foot resting on it. I'm not holding his foot there. I'm letting him rest it on my knee. I'll turn around so maybe you can see that a little better. I'm letting him rest it on my knee. Now I'm guarding it with this hand. That's a little bit for my own safety. And he took it away. It didn't get him anywhere. He got nothing from doing that because I put it right back. So one of the things I'll be doing in the next week is preparing him to be shod. So I'll be doing stand for the farrier lessons. And this is the introduction to that. I'll be pounding on these feet firstly with my hoof pick. When he quits, I'm going to set that foot down. If I can, I want to hold it up by the toe and wait for him to quit and set it down. Like everything else. Good boy. Good boy. Now, what I was doing right there is seeing how he currently is. If I want to, I can backtrack now and help him feel a little better by running my hand down and stimulating this leg, making sure he can stand there. I can hold it up for less periods of time and set it down. Whatever he needs me to do to make him comfortable about this process. But he's pretty good. You're okay. Of course, I have this lead line here for a reason. If I need to, I can pick more of this up and use it to ask him to not pull. Going back here for the first time, you always want to be a little careful. Also, I noticed there was a greenhead biting fly on his front leg a little bit ago, so I might not have done a good enough job of fly spraying this guy. And he can kick at the flies. So I want to examine this back end by running my hand down, and you can't see it, and I drop this out of my pocket. Here, let me turn him around. Oh, good. Put this back in my pocket. I have this in my pocket, so if he takes off, I don't get drugged, but I can easily reach down and use it if I need to. And then when I'm going to the back, I need a long enough line that I'm not pulling on his head. So I want to run my hand all the way down like this. And I want to see what he does. With my hand here, I'm kind of guarding and protecting my face. If I wanted to, I could use my other hand as well to guard myself. So if he does kick, at least I don't get it in the face. But you want to find out, if you've not met the horse before, what they think about this. They can be defensive about their hind end. And my Q spot here is the last muscle is above the hock. And I squeeze that to ask for the back foot to come up. And you can see I just calmly took this lead line when he started to walk off, picked it up, and asked him to stop. I'm going to go ahead and maneuver him for you again. And hope. Let's try that again. Good. And hope. So what I just did right there is what I call disengagement. I asked for a crossover in the back end. And when a horse crosses over like this, it takes all the energy out of their engine. Okay, if you cross your legs, which is your engine, you can't run forward. You're okay. You're okay. So I asked the same thing of him. So I'm going to go back there, see how he feels about his back foot being picked up. He says that's okay. And usually I go down. I'm going to go ahead and do that too, since that's what I usually do. I go down on one knee right here too, if I feel it's safe enough. Now I'm going to take his toe. He's got tension in this leg. I can feel it, and he's a little worried. So, He took it away from me. I'm going to stay with it. You got to be real careful right here, because if you stay with it too much, and you can create defensiveness in him, and he might strike out of defensiveness. So I'm using this lead line to suggest he stop by crossing over his back end. And when he does stop, what should I do? Give him a release. He's got anxiety, that movement, and he's just licking and chewing. That movement is him expressing anxiety. And no kidding, greenhead. Okay, hold on. I'm going to kill that. Let me kill it. Got him. There you go. You're okay. You're okay. Come on forward. One thing I have noticed so far with this horse, when he walks pretty slow, he drags both his hind feet. That's just something I've observed. Not going to do anything one way or the other about it, but I am going to notice it and file it away. So what I was trying to tell you to do is when he picks up this back foot, I'm going to ask right now by squeezing that leg. I want to be ready when he picks it up. Now I want to do little circles with his toe on the ground. I want to rotate this foot. So let's see if you can see this. Around in little tiny circles to relax that hip muscle, to stimulate the whole thing so he can feel that's not a bad deal. That's not too bad. I can tolerate that. And I want to rotate in both directions, little circles with his toe on the ground. Okay. And if his hip muscles start getting tense, I can also set this down right when he quits, right there, he quit. I'm going to set it down for him and pet this hip. Now you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going to bring this back end around. There you go. So what I need to do is pet this leg more. And keeping in mind, you want to desensitize this whole back end of this horse before you get on him. If you don't work on this back end and he still feels a little defensive about being stimulated back here by you or objects, if he starts to bucking when you get on him, he's got a problem right there. Let's watch him fix. Oh, he fixed it himself. I don't want him pawing, but he might be wanting to lay down again, which I don't mind that. I'm going to give him a little problem to solve. I took the problem away. I'm going to give him a little problem to solve, and he fixed it. Good job. Look what we found, fly spray bottle. Let's put a little bit more on you. I'm rubbing the bottle on his right shoulder. He quit. Bottle goes away. Quick spray before he can move. Quick spray before he can move. Quick spray before he can move. Now he moves. Too late. You got sprayed already. And I've got everything backwards. I should have my lead in my right hand, fly spray bottle in my left hand. So when he's going around like this, if you want to disengage the back end and stop, all you have to do is pick up this lead hand and it crosses his rear end over. All this movement is his anxiety trying to avoid the situation. I don't like this situation. I'm trying to get out of this situation. I got a halter on my face. I'm physically restrained, but I can still move my body. He just started licking and chewing because he stopped moving and everything's good. Now I haven't changed anything. I am looking at him, at his hip. Good. Good. So now I'm just going to do a quick spray. Whoops. That was a lot of fly spray. I'm going to suggest that he stop. Picking up my hand. He stops. He just bumped me with his head. It was a very polite, could you please stop doing that to me? It was a very polite request, but it was still a request. And theoretically, he doesn't have the right to do that. But I love to have a dialogue with my horse. And I want him to know that I know what that meant, that I heard him. So I'm going to go up in his groin one time. And again, all this movement is too late. He's trying to prevent it from occurring, but it's not working. And when things don't work, horses just quit because it doesn't work. There, good. And anytime I really want to work on his anxiety, I can drop his head down and kick in. If he will voluntarily hold his nose within 6 inches of the ground, he'll lick and chew and release anxiety. And this pointing at him can be causing him anxiety. We'll ask him for his head down a little more. Good. 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 The head shake right there was actually him letting some tension out. It's a little less than a lick and chew. Good. You're okay. Yes. So again, this is passive leadership, me offering peace. And this is the most powerful thing I have in my toolbox. Okay. So that's over. I can start a new session. You can see how he feels when I pick this up. He didn't move that time. His skin flinched a lot. Now he feels that as pressure to move forward. I can tell he thought I wanted him to move forward there. He's been handled enough that he goes, I'm supposed to move forward if people put pressure on my rear end. So I'm going to use my lead line to explain to him that's a situational request. Fly spray does not constitute pressure in your rear end, and I actually want you to not move. So I'm going to wait for him to stop moving. I want to wait a little bit. I don't want him to think every time I stop moving I get fly sprayed. I don't want him to think that, so I need to let a little bit of time go by before I reach up in there into his groin and spray again. Good job right there. Good one. Yes. I'm going to switch hands, switch sides, because I think I got good enough, pretty darn good in the groin on that side, so I'm going to see if I can get in the groin on this side a little better than I have. It's always good to rub it on him first if you want. Then get in there and spray and get out of there. If he feels a need to move, that's okay. It didn't work to prevent me from fly spraying. I'm going to rub it on him some more. He's walking off while I'm rubbing. So when he stops, I'm going to stop rubbing. This is apparently causing him enough anxiety that he can't stand still. And there he stopped. I took it away. He starts moving. I'm going to put it back. And now I'm going to actually suggest that he doesn't need to move. It's never wrong to give your horse some good ideas. Hey, guess what I'm thinking about? Me fly spraying you without you moving. Okay, so we had a good enough break right there for a little moment of peace. I'm going to rub it on him again. Spray his butt again. And because I want to go ahead and, whoops, there we go. He quit on his own. So I'm going to quit. Next thing I'm going to do is go for that groin and fly spray. Get in, get out. Good, good. And now I'm going to go ahead and get some on his face, around his eyes, on his ears. Always. And he is ear shy. You can see he does not like my hand up there at his ear. I definitely need to change that before I put a bridle on. If your horse is head shy like this, or ear shy, it's a little hard to put fly spray on there, but I'm going to get her done anyhow. Because he's not severe. Excuse you. Good. Excuse you. Oops, almost poked you in the eye. Okay, so just because he is ear shy, I'm going to go ahead and spray a little on the back of the ears. I want to get that ear too. There we go. Good job. Okay. Whoops. I have not gone Let's see, did I actually pick that back foot? I don't think I actually picked it. Just let me put this away, get it out of here. If you want to come with me, that's fine, but you're dragging a lead line, which will tell me how you feel about that. Some horses have never drug a lead line before, and I've had horses in here, the first time I do this, they got that knot following them on the ground, and it scares the hell out of them, and they run around bonkers, trying to run from the end of the lead line. Yep. Yo, I'm over here. Oh, you are standing on it. There you go. Guess I better be cognizant of my recording times. I'm spending way too long doing some of these things that normally I wouldn't be doing that probably this session, taking this much time, because I wouldn't be talking to you, I'd just be getting things done. So I'm going to come back here, check on this leg, ask him to pick it up for me. I don't even have a hold of the lead line. When I get in there, get anything that's important in there out, brush it off. He's got nice long hooves. He's ready for overdue for a trim, which is perfect because he's going to get some shoes on. And he is pretty darn good. You're okay. You're okay. Good. He was volunteering his foot, which is great. I just want to check him out. Now I'm going to go ahead and ask. I asked, nothing happened. I asked longer. He took his weight off and he picked it up. Good boy. Curiously, well, I was going to say he feels a little better on this side than on the off side than he does on the near side, which surprises me. I like to put feet down. I don't like to drop them. Let's see, normally this corner right here is the worst corner on a horse. Very sensitive. Because he's standing nicely, I'm not going to move him around so you can see me. I'm just squeezing that muscle above the hock so he picks up his foot. He's taking the weight off and he picked it up. I'm going to go ahead and set that on my knee. I'm going to stop kneeling because the surface is a little hard on my knees. Normally I wear jeans out here for this, but it's a little hot day today, so and I'm only going to get on him once and get off probably. So shorts, no big deal. Good job. Interesting. He feels a little better on this side. And he's actually got smaller feet than it looks from up here, because there's going to be about ½ an inch of growth cut off when he gets shoes on. So he's got those little dinky quarter horse feet, I think, from those halter horse breeding. I don't know why you would do that. Why people did that in the... Okay, so time for his halter to come off, and time for us to get busy and serious about tacking up this horse. Please get off my lead line. Thank you. Okay, so first I have to teach him, when I plant you somewhere, stay there. I don't want you to move. I started doing that yesterday. I do it by moving their feet and then telling them don't move their feet. And again, we want to do all this at the walk so that they can learn. If they're going faster than the walk, there's a good chance they're moving around with anxiety, and you can't learn as much when you have a lot of anxiety than when you feel calm and relaxed. So all I want to do is turn him left and right. I am going to ask him to trot. He's investigating tack hanging up there, that's fine. I'm going to ask him to trot and canter with nothing on him because I'll be asking for trot and canter with something on him, and I also want to investigate his left and right leads and make sure he's got good left and right leads that are working normally. So I'm staring at his hiney. He should be walking. He's stopping occasionally to investigate vegetation, which shouldn't even be there. It's because I'm not taking good care of my round pen and arena because I'm too busy working. And I'm me, myself, and I. Okay, so I need to ask him to turn, go the other way. That was very nice. He's retained that from yesterday. But yesterday he had trouble turning to the left on command, not to the right. So I'm going to let him be a little consistent here and go around half a lap and let him investigate the trailer. He said no thanks, but he did look. And now he's trotting. Don't know why. Part of it might be he does not like turning to the left, and he does not like going to the right. Now you can see him having a little regression regarding our relationship. Our relationship is not formed as much as I would like to have it been yesterday. Right there, these things are him complaining, saying, you don't have the right to boss me around. So in his mind, we are still establishing who has a superior higher number, me or him. He wants to have a higher number until the numbers are solidified. And once he realizes, oop, that individual's stronger than I am, more powerful than me, I guess I'll be number 2. And then that stuff will stop. Usually it takes me 10 minutes of moving their feet like this, asking for the turns, for the horse to go, okay, you can move my feet. I am yielding my feet to you, therefore you're in charge. And combine that with the passive leadership, and they feel good about yielding themselves to you instead of it being a forced thing. Oh, and before I go very much further, I better go check how long I've been taping. There we go. Not that way. Let's try that. Not that way. There we go. Okay, so you can see I'm working my way over here. I want to give them a little tiny moment. Anytime your horse has difficulty with something, when they accomplish it successfully for the first time, quit. Let them learn. Like I tried to do that, that didn't work, he did this, and this was the outcome. Let them review that in their mind. Give them an opportunity to learn. I guess I can go through my round pen, but I need to reset the camera. So this was part 2. Coming up will be part 3 of session 2 of starting Mr. Smoke. Oh, 38 minutes, seemed longer.